Ese es el bazuco. Ese es el punto guajiro de ellos. El punto guajiro de ellos. We're over here with Fernando, with Traveling Forest, Bosque Viajero. Dime algo, Bosque Viajero, para la cámara ahí.
Aquí estamos.
De nuevo en Tarpon Springs.
Estamos en Tarpon Springs de nuevo, a ver si van a regalar esponjas aquí.
Coño, me los va a coger. Pero no tienen esponjas aquí hoy. O están haciendo el evento.
A ver si me doy un baño.
They're doing the event today called Hope Day. Right here on the Sponge Docks.
¿Cómo se saludan a los sacerdotes?
Yo siempre veo Calimera. Calimera. Es el ayo,
Calimera es un trago Calimera.
No, es bueno.
No le puedes decir, ¿cómo se llama esto?
Calispera,
Un uso.
Oh, sí, pues, es el cura. Él es una bella persona, esa. Tremendo evento. It's gonna be Hope Day here in Tarpon Springs today.
Fine.
Hey, little big man.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I was gonna tell Sheila, I go, look, honestly, the group chat.
I know, this is great.
Yeah, we got everybody here.
Look, they're showing off the cigars already.
Yeah, nice.
I wonder where Jimmy is. Jimmy here?
We're there every Sunday.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, Mark. There he is.
There he
El Bosque
is.
Viajero.
You just woke up. I'm the
How
original
you doing,
sponge
buddy?
diver. The
That's right.
original
The
sponge
painter.
diver.
This is the famous painter.
So Hope Day is a day to remember the pioneers who strove to make a better Tarpon Springs for all of us, who made sacrifices. It's also a day for us to remember to always work together in keeping Tarpon Springs prosperous and even making it better for future generations and passing hope along to them. So with that, I would like to introduce to you our mayor, Chris Alahusos, and he will be introducing some of our special guests and reading the Hope Day proclamation.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Father Harros, Reverend Smith, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our first Hope Day ceremony. I'd like to recognize my colleagues that are here with us tonight. Vice Mayor Carr, Commissioner Donovan, Commissioner Vatiquiotis, former Vice Mayor Robin Singer, former Commissioner Tarpon, our City Manager Mr. Liqueras, Chief Young, Fire Chief Young, and Police Chief Young, they're both here today. I want to thank you all for attending this special event. This event is giving us the opportunity to honor the pioneers of the city. A special event gives us the opportunity to say hello, to say thank you to all these people that they made this beautiful city for us to enjoy. I want to thank the organizers of the ceremony, the residents, the Merchants Association, the Historical Society, and everyone involved. On June 8th, 2021, the Board of Commissioners approved the resolution, which I'd like to read now. Resolution number 2021-32. A resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, establishing June 18 as the Hope Day in Tarpon Springs, recognizing and honoring the pioneers and founders of the city, and commemorate the importance of the traditions that define Tarpon Springs and cherish the city's hope for the future. Whereas the city of Tarpon Springs is blessed with the nature beauty of its many parks, bayous, waterways, and Ankle River. Whereas the area surrounding the city of Tarpon Springs has always been inhabited with people of many cultures, exhibiting a pioneering spirit and a strong resolve to preserve its way of life and hope for the future. Whereas the area, it was known in early years for farming, timber, citrus, Carroll fishing and spongery industries. Whereas it's also served as a winter destination for many wealthy North families who appreciate the beauty of the area and so hope in a warm climate and spring waters. And whereas the City of Tarpon Springs was incorporated on February 12, 1887, and whereas the United States government recognized the town's strategic importance when during the Spanish-American War, it established a deep water channel to the center of the working waterfront. Whereas in 1905, the first helmet divers of the Greek origin arrived in Tarpon Springs to work in the sponge industry in the hope it will be better their lives. And whereas the sponge divers set sail June 18, 1905 aboard the LVs, or Hope, and whereas other peoples of European, American, and Afro-Caribbean ancestry joined to create what became known as Tarpon Springs sponge capital of the world. And whereas the sponge industry quickly became the center of commerce in Tarpon Springs until its demise in the late 1940s. And whereas many other such industries rose and declined, where the City of Tarpon Springs and its residents continued to hope and persevere. And whereas the commercial fishing and other industries eventually prospered, and whereas the sponge industry endured, its remaining boats and operators are a testimonial to the resolve of the residents and businesses to carry on the traditions of the past and maintain hope for the future. And whereas the City of Tarpon Springs has preserved over the past 135 years to sustain its values and its identity to establish by the earliest inhabitants. And now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, the City of Tarpon Springs recognizes June 18, 2021 as the Day of Hope, LBs, and renew signify that tomorrow will be better and brighter than today. But we must all work together to preserve the nature beauty and continue the traditions and to maintain the hometown way of life in the City of Tarpon Springs. This resolution should be effective immediately upon the adoption. With that, I would like to thank Gerald Lemons for writing this resolution. Actually says the whole story of Tarpon Springs, the whole history of Tarpon Springs. Thank you, Karen. I'd like to recognize our congressman.
Dime, Bosque Viajero. Ese era Finfield. Bosque Viajero, aquí en el blog.
I don't know her name.
The donut truck.
With a green flag. Thank you very much. Okay, guys.
¿Cómo lo hacen? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You got it.
So it's great. Le traigo aquí que marca la historia. Eso es en Mamas, tienen la bailarina.
¿Es baila griego o baila
Belly dance.
belga? No,
Yeah.
no es griego.
Cool. Son primos.
Ah, bueno. Es que todos en esa esquina ahí son...
Grades of sponges that are harvested around the world. The best quality sponges that we get out here are the best sponges in the world. There's a lot of processing work that goes into the production of sponges before you buy it at these stores down here in Tarpon Springs. Conventionally, a boat like the one behind me would hold a crew of 6 men, with 2 of those men being divers. So in the early days, it would run through families, and you would see the sons and the uncles and so forth really owning the boats and running the boats. The early settlers to Tarpon came from the 12 islands of Greece, the Dodecanese Islands. The reason they moved here is a gentleman by the name of John Cheney came into this area who was an importer-exporter and made an assumption that there were sponges out here in the Gulf of Mexico. The 12 islands of Greece had already been sponge diving for 1,000 years, so he contacted an associate of his by the name of John Kokoris, who brought the early Greeks here from the 12 islands of Greece. The name of the main street here is called Dodekanes Boulevard. The suit is made out of 2 layers of canvas, 1 layer rubber. It's watertight as well as skin tight. But once he puts the suit on, the head deckhand will then start putting on the weights of the suit, starting with the shoes weighing 12 pounds apiece. The brass on his shoulders that the helmet connects to weigh 22 pounds, and the helmet itself weighing 38 pounds. Every time this man goes to work in a sponge diving suit, his suit weighs 172 pounds.
Pues tuve la suerte de bajar y bucear mientras ellos hacían el trabajo. Pero ya ese video no lo tengo, así que voy a tratar de ver si alguien me puede dar un pedazo. Ok, mira, ahí tenemos más. Agios Nicolaos. Miren el nombre griego completamente. Y miren esto, señores. Todo un cultivo completo, recogida de cultivo de ¿cómo se llama? De esponjas. Wow, look at this. Bueno, esto es dedicado en memoria de todas aquellas personas que de una manera u otra han hecho que esta ciudad de Tarpon Spring se convierta en un lugar de atracción turística. Esa es la ropa típica de un buzo de esponjas, y esta estatua fue hecha en el 2002, fue donada a la ciudad. Hi.
How you doing?
Howdy. Hi guys, I'm here with Dimitri. Dimitri, are you in charge with this?
This is my boat, yeah.
Oh, he's the captain, the owner, and whatever. All this is yours?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you historical.
Go ahead.
Okay. Why the Greek, with many other places in the United States, came to Tarpon Spring?
Okay. Basically, in the early 1900s, they saw that there were sponges here. They used to use a 12 to 15 foot pole with a 5-inch, because that was the legal size. When they saw that there was sponges in deep water, nobody knew how to dive for them.
Okay.
So that's why they brought the Greeks up, especially from our island in Greece. God, you know, everybody lived off of the ocean, whether it was a fisherman or sponges here.
Who brought the Greeks in here?
In the old days, there were 200 boats here working.
Okay. But there was the black people, there was from...
Yeah, everybody.
No Greek, no Greeks at all.
No, it was the black people and Cubans.
And Cubans.
Yeah.
This is what you do in Greek?
Yes, we've been doing this since the grandfather.
Exactly, with the grandfather. Yeah. And are you happy?
Oh yeah. If I wasn't happy, I wouldn't be doing it.
What a great answer. What a great answer. Dimitri, nice meeting you, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm Trump 100%.
That's
okay.
it.
Have a wonderful day, sir. Thank you for your explanation.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a usted. Gracias.